Alright, so in this video I'm going to go over the antennas that are mounted to the doors on the JP Explorer. More specifically, they're mounted to the mirrors. The antenna that they use is actually a marine VHF antenna. It makes sense why they would go with something like this, like a marine antenna. I mean, it's something that you don't see every day, unless you are around boats. You wouldn't really recognize it, so it looks kind of different. Also, we know that they used other marine and RV parts on this truck. They used the battery box lid, which is used in RVs and boats, and also the lights on top of the number 12 Jeep, the motorized lights. Those are actually commonly used in RVs and boats. So, maybe they went to a marine supply store and kind of picked out some of their props, but who knows. But yeah, so originally this was white. You actually have to paint it black, or in my case I actually plasti dipped it black. I like working with plasti dip. It's more forgiving than paint. It's easy to use, especially if there's something where you're not sure if it's gonna stick to it. Plasti dip's a pretty safe bet. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the first things I did to this truck was put these antennas on, before it was painted or anything. I put these on probably around in 2009 or 2010. So, I mean, they've been on the truck for years, and the plasti dip's holding it up. I mean, granted, this truck is mostly garaged. It's probably only spent, a few weeks total outside since I've had it. It's mainly in the garage, so... And I don't really drive it a whole lot because of the, actually more recently I don't drive it a whole lot because of the roof's cut off and stuff like that. But I used to, drive this around quite a bit, and, it's held up over the years, so I'm pretty happy with it. But, yeah, there are a few modifications you have to make to this antenna besides just making it black. The first thing here is the diameter of the mast that comes with it. It's quite a bit larger. Actually, I had to replace the mast with this one. Yeah, this is just a fiberglass rod, which I'll go over what I used for that in a second. But yeah, basically to get it to fit in here, I had to figure out a way to adapt it. Which I'll go over that in a second. But yeah, I put a cap on it. I think I got these at Ace Hardware. These little rubber caps to make it look like it's an antenna. But yeah, I used this is just a fiberglass marker. Let me see, yep. I have one here that's, unfinished. But this is a fiberglass marker that you stick in your, lawn next to your driveway or something, and it had a couple of reflective, strips on it that I peeled off. But I got this from Home Depot. Looked about the right size. It's fiberglass, it's flexible. It's designed to flex. But I basically used a electrical butt connector for wires. I cut it in half and then shoved this down into it to kind of adapt it to the right size so it fits. Let me see if I can get it in there with one hand. There we go. But yeah. Oops. It's hard to do this with one hand. But yeah. Wedge that down in there. That's a nice snug fit. Couple other modifications that were necessary are there's a mount that's right here that you have to cut off and then kind of sand smooth. I'll go over and take a look at this picture here. But yeah, basically this right here, this mount you have to cut off. It's kind of hard to see actually. It's actually below here. Let me see if there's another picture. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but there's an integrated mount that you have to sand or cut and sand off. And also, it sat a little high. I actually had to grind off some of these threads here. This one's, unscrewed so you can see it. But to make it sit a little more flush down, I had to cut off and sand some of the bottom part there, and a little bit of the threads too. But But that makes it, when you torque this down, it sits pretty flush. Yeah, this is just a dummy antenna. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Adam's build, but he actually retrofitted working CB antennas on his. I want to do something similar, but I don't want to do CB. I want to do UHF instead of VHF, which is what these originally were. But yeah, the reason why I want to do UHF is because I want it to work with these. These are Motorola Sabre radios. These are the exact model that they used in Jurassic Park. The only difference was the movie ones were fake. They were resin copies, and that they were painted like a beige off-white. But yeah, I want to put a UHF radio in this truck and have it work with these. So eventually, I want to find a hollow mast I can use, and then find the right length of wire to put in it for the antenna. But yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, that's kind of a side discussion. I mean, right now this is just to get it where it looks good. Eventually I'll add features like actually making them work and stuff like that. But for right now, it looks pretty good. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. You just have to trim off the mounts and then find a replacement rod. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.